Run Ronnie Run is a pretty interesting experience. This was released in 2002. It's directed by Troy Miller, written by David Cross, Bob Odenkirk, Scott Aukerman, BJ Porter, and Brian Pawson, with a cast including David Cross, Bob Odenkirk, Nikki Cox. We have John Stamos. It's because of John Stamos that I wanted to watch this. And then I learned that it's actually a spin-off from the TV series Mr. Show, which I haven't seen, but I don't think it matters too much. Certainly I was able to follow everything that was here. It is worth bearing in mind that my opinion might be different had I seen that, but I'm not too sure about that. I feel like my opinion might actually be the same. There were things in this that I think worked really well, that I found to be interesting. There were things that I didn't love, but at the same time, I don't think any of that has to do with my lack of knowledge of Mr. Show, but that's just worth bearing in mind. This is about a character called Ronnie, who is described as a redneck, and he gets his own reality TV show. And it's definitely character-driven, and yes, maybe I could benefit from a bit more of a relationship with the character, maybe knowing the character's backstory. I don't think that's necessary to follow the narrative, but maybe I would have connected a little bit more with the character if that was the case. This is a comedy, and I actually found it to be quite amusing from the beginning, which was a very promising start. And after that, there does continue to be quite a lot of comedy, a lot of creativity. I wouldn't say it was laugh out loud funny, comedy being subjective, but there were times when I thought this was quite amusing. And even if I didn't love all of the comedy in terms of my personal preference, I could identify places where other people might find it funny based on their taste. So it's definitely not a bad comedy in that regard, and I think depending on your preferences, there may be bits you find funny or funnier than other bits. I think it could have quite a wide appeal depending on your tastes. That being said, I don't fully know how I feel about the whole experience, because while scene by scene I did find something to enjoy, I didn't really care for the overarching narrative, for the story as a whole. I was never ever emotionally invested. I never really cared about how it would develop. And I don't really like Ronnie either. As I said, that may be different had I had more of an experience with him, but I just didn't really care for the character. I don't dislike him, but I never really connected with the character, and because I wasn't really invested in the narrative either, I just wasn't having the strongest response to a lot of what was happening. But that being said, there is still something there pretty much in every scene that I enjoyed, whether it's a different character or something that was a little funny or something creative happening with the visuals. So as a story or a character study, I just didn't care. But the creativity is something I really enjoyed. It's very unpredictable, quite chaotic in a way that works really well with the tone of the film. It also looks great, with great camera work and editing and colours, some great costumes. Honestly, it is pretty impressive. Because I'm usually narrative driven first and foremost, and then character driven, it's a different experience for me to still say, actually, I didn't hate it, even though those two elements didn't work well for me. So I probably wouldn't watch it again, unless I were to ever watch Mr. Show, in which case I might watch this again to see if I feel any different. But as I said, I don't think I would. It's not a lack of understanding, it's more just not having that connection with the character. But the way in which the character is written is not to my personal tastes. So, I don't know, maybe I'd feel differently, but I don't think I would. Either way, Run Ronnie Run was interesting enough. I only watched it for John Stamos. I guess I'm glad enough I had a reason to watch it. Probably wouldn't watch it again, but as a one-time watch, it was definitely an experience.